Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a requested video, which is a perfume Q&A. So I asked you guys for what questions you wanted me to answer about anything really to do with perfume, or I guess anything else, and I'm going to go through and answer them. So if you're new here, then welcome. It's all about perfume. Do subscribe and check out all my other videos, and if you're not subscribed then you can't, I don't think, see when I put out questions and polls here on YouTube, and I'm not sure you can see my stories on YouTube either, so do get involved, do subscribe, and keep your questions coming and keep your suggestions for different perfume reviews and different things you want down below in the comments. I do read all your comments and I do try and do all your requests. So I put a post on YouTube community asking you guys what questions you'd want to ask. So let's go through. Nicola Ward says, do you have a perfume that you hate so bad if someone is wearing it you have to leave? Yes, I do. Yeah, spilling the tea straight away here, spilling the perfume tea. So there are a couple. I personally find Alien really difficult. I don't know whether it's because I associate it with a particular time in my life where when I was sort of 18, 19, everyone was wearing it and I would go out to clubs and it would just be everywhere and I'd find it quite suffocating because it's such a strong perfume. I'm not a massive jasmine fan, and it's heavy jasmine, but it's like a sickly, otherworldly jasmine, and I do find it a bit much. So if I'm stood next to someone on the tube wearing Alien or something, then I do like look forward to getting away from the smell, I have to say. Though some of the newer Aliens, like the new, actually I have it right here, the new Alien Mirage is much lighter, and I can tolerate this, I don't hate it. It's much lighter and fresher, but yeah, that's definitely one. Another one that I can't bear, so Hypnotic Poison I think is a fantastic perfume. It's amazing for lasting. But the problem is some people apply like too much and it can become sickly and overwhelming. So when I used to work selling perfumes, obviously I was surrounded by perfumes all the time, and I used to work a 6-day week. Some weeks I'd do 7 days, like for the extra money. And so by the time I finished that job, I literally, my nose was so sensitive, I was overwhelmed by any perfume. So when I was near anyone wearing Hypnotic Poison, it was like someone was covering my face in vanilla. It made me feel a little bit sick. It doesn't really have that effect anymore. I quite like it now. Same with Dolce & Gabbana The One, but at the time it became too much. Okay, so next question from Ellen Morgan. How long before most perfume goes bad, and how should you store perfume? So in terms of what makes a perfume degrade, so perfume, just like plastics actually, degrades with light. So if you have your perfume on a dressing table or something where it's in daylight, direct light, that is going to degrade your perfume. So if you're looking to store perfumes for a long time, I'd recommend keeping them in a drawer or keeping them in the box, and always keep your perfumes out of direct sunlight, because that's what's going to degrade them. I think far more than actually time would degrade them. So I have some perfumes that are at least 10 years old. I have an old Misty or Cherie. Here it is. This is probably about 10, 12 years old maybe. So this still smells great. Like, it still smells, in fact I'd say it's got a little bit stronger with time, because it is an eau de toilette but it lasts quite well. The colour's faded a bit, like it's not as a vivid pink I think as it used to be, but it's still totally fine. But I do keep this in a drawer. So that's your main thing. I don't think there is a particular time or a rule that says this is how long a perfume lasts, but they can last like a really long time, so don't stress. If you think you're buying a perfume that's been on the shelf for a long time, like as long as it's not like 50 years, I think you'll be fine. Okay, next question from Michelle 21617. Are there any manners to trying out perfumes in a store? Such as, could I spray it on my skin? How much could I try? It always stresses me out when I'm at the counter, when the person at the counter stares at me especially when I've tried a bunch of perfumes but ending up not buying any of them. Yeah, I feel your pain, Michelle, 100%. It's so awkward because the sales assistants are like, can I help? Would you want to try the new one? And they're like staring at you, right? And you're like, I just want to smell them, like please leave me alone. Especially in Britain, like we don't really like talking to anyone in stores. So I know, I feel your pain. I think the best thing actually is to like engage with them a bit, and perhaps they're just a bit bored. So if you show an interest, and you know, it doesn't really matter if you don't actually buy anything, and don't let them pressurize you into buying something. I think that's just like not cool, not fun. In terms of manners, like, I mean, it's a personal decision, isn't it, manners? But you know, the thing that is I found annoying when I was working selling perfume was someone who would just come in, pick one up, spray loads on them, and then walk out. And it's like, you were obviously just here for a free spray. Like, that's really desperate, like get a life. But we did have people that would come in, you'd spend ages with them, they'd try it, and then they'd leave without buying anything, and you're like, oh, I thought they were gonna buy something. But they would come back later in the day or the next day and say, yeah, I've tried it, I've walked around, I'm really enjoying the smell, now I want to buy it. So, you know, that does happen. So people aren't too worried if you don't buy it straight away, I think. But the one thing that is quite often I see people get wrong, as it were, is the blotter cards. They have a thin end and a thick end usually, and the idea is that you hold the thin end and you spray it on the thick end and smell that. But I think naturally we tend to hold the thicker end because that's like easier to hold, and we spray the thin end. The etiquette or the special perfume way is to do it that way around, but you know, there's no difference between the paper on each side of it, so it doesn't really matter. But you'll find that if you go to quite high-end stores, whatever, the sales assistants will give it you like this, and if you're doing it the wrong way around, you'll see them looking at you like, why are you doing it the wrong way around? But you know, get over yourself, it's a piece of paper. Next question from Eka Archvadesi. Sorry, I probably pronounced that really badly. Why are some EDP perfumes that have weaker lasting power than some EDT perfumes? Good question. Don't really know the answer, because an eau de parfum has more perfume oil in it than an eau de toilette, so it should be stronger. So I have no answer to this question. This is a mystery. I think Narciso Rodriguez famously, the eau de parfum is softer, but that's because it's different ingredients. So maybe it's that the eau de toilette and the eau de parfum are actually a different perfume because they have different ingredients, which means that you can't compare like to like, and the lasting powers might, you know, have nothing to do with each other. Maybe it's that, but yeah, that is just sad if that happens, isn't it? Next from Nicola Ward is, do you give your perfumes away when you get too many? Do you have a limit? Yeah, this is a good question, Nicola, because this has been on my mind at the moment. I used to be quite strict with how many I'd have, and I would never really have more than, say, 15, because I do like to keep everything in my flat very organised. I'm a very organised person. And you might have watched my previous perfume collection video that I did maybe a year ago. Things have changed since then. So because I'm making so many videos, it is quite useful for me to keep perfumes because I might want to refer back to them in future videos. And there have been times where I've had a perfume, I've given it away, and then I do a video and I'm like, oh, it would have been good to actually show this here. And then I get people commenting saying, oh, why aren't you showing the perfumes in your video? You know, and it's like, well, because I'm trying to be, you know, zen and not have enough too much stuff here. So I definitely have more now, and I'm going to do a video about my perfume collection. I'll leave it linked here when I've done it, an updated 2020 version. So now I've stopped having a limit, but I would say, listen, if something makes you happy, then go for it, right? Like, don't feel pressure to have not as many as you want if they really do make you happy. And of course, perfumes make me happy, so whatever. I am lucky that I do get sent perfumes, and sometimes I don't like them, or sometimes I get more than one of the same thing, and then of course I give them away. Next question is from Audrey Lambert. This isn't really about perfume. what is your profession? Do you work in perfume beauty industry? So I did used to work in perfume, just selling perfume, nothing super exciting, but it was really fun. I used to talk to the reps from the different companies, and I learned from really amazing people, and that's kind of where I learned everything I know now about perfumes. And I used to get to go on some trainings as well by brands. So yeah, now it's well, it's a hobby, but it's also kind of my job. Like, I do this part-time now, but then I do also have an office job that I do part-time as well, which is super boring that you don't want to hear about. Next question is from Taya. What are your favorite niche perfumes, and are designer fragrances, really expensive ones, truly worth it? So to answer the question on niche, I find niche a really hard topic. So I know that a lot of people who are fragrance reviewers, people that do fragrance videos on YouTube, are really into niche, and people who are really into perfume can sometimes look down on the big brands, the big like commercial perfumes, and say, if you know anything about perfume, then you should only be doing like niche perfumes, only wearing niche. I personally don't think that's true. So I think there are some fantastic perfumes that aren't niche. I talk about them all the time in my videos, right? And I also think that just because something is successful doesn't mean it should be, you should turn your nose up at it. I also think that the bottle and the branding is all part of the experience, and these big brands, when they get it right, can create really fantastic stories and experiences which kind of lift your heart in a way that some niche perfumes can't do, because they don't have the budget to think and do the creative on it. So to answer your question around niche, so I don't know if you would describe the Atelier colognes as niche, but I just did a video on them, and I've been to their shop a few times in London, and I just think these are really cute, like fantasy holiday perfumes. Like, they have loads of citrus ones, and they're all about sort of getting away. The Pacific line and the Californian Clementine, you know, really nice. I like Acqua di Parma, though I guess that's not really niche these days, particularly the Blue Med range. And this perfume, Gardens of India by Parlez-moi de Perfume, a French niche brand. This is really interesting. It reminds me of the Yves Saint Laurent garden in Marrakesh. I know that's a very specific thing for it to remind me of, but it smells like tropical green plants, tropical vibes, very fresh, really, really nice. Really liking this perfume. I save this for special occasions when I just want to feel like tropical. I think this is perfect for winter, sorry, not winter, summer and holidays as well, when you want to feel tropical, fresh. Awesome. And then your question, Taya, around really expensive designer ones, are they truly worth it? So my opinion is that a lot of the time, probably not. So if we look at, for example, the Dior Maison de Dior range, the tall long bottles, they are hundreds and hundreds of pounds, right? And when I try them, they don't have better lasting power or anything than some of the other ones in Dior that are like half the price. So oftentimes, no, I don't think they are. And sometimes it's kind of the marketing and, oh, these are exclusive, they're only sold in these exclusive shops that you're paying for. It's not necessarily that they're better quality perfume. So you do have to be careful with things like that. I also think like the designer ones like Chanel in particular have become too expensive, and they're kind of taking advantage of people now. And you're paying for the branding, the marketing, the celebrity endorsement. You're not paying for the perfume. It hasn't changed. If anything, they reformulate their perfumes all the time and make them perhaps less strong and less good. So the price just goes up and up and up, and it's over £100 now for a full-size Coco Mademoiselle. And I think, you know, if you want to get your mother a gift or something, then you're gonna have to get a small size or whatever, and it's not really fair. And there are often quite similar ones you can get from other brands that are like better value for money. So I think a lot of the time, no. Next question from Natalia Alaimo. What is a very unusual, magical, special perfume for you, and why? So that unusual Parlez-moi Le Parfum one, the Gardens of India, that's unusual and special. One that I no longer have is the Van Cleef & Arpels Fairy perfume. This was the most beautiful bottle, beautiful, I love fairies. I used to really love fairies as a child. I find it so magical. This amazing like silver fairy detail, and then this really cool like magical bottle. It was like being in a wonderland fantasy just looking at it, and it smelled like ivy. It smelled like where you would imagine fairies would live and what it would smell like. Discontinued, isn't it? The whole range discontinued from Van Cleef. If anyone watching works for Van Cleef, what are you doing? Because this was the most magical, amazing perfume, and now the Van Cleef ones all come in these really boring like rectangle bottles. And you know, the whole Van Cleef brand, you know, I go and window shop looking at their jewelry in London, and through the window I can see that they have all these fairies and everything, and it's magical. It's like, why are you not applying that to your perfumes anymore? Because it's freaking awesome. So that was amazing, really magical. Next question from Sailor Earth, great name. What's your opinion on layering fragrances, and do you use body care products, shower gel, body lotion in similar scents to match whatever fragrance you decide to wear that day? Yes, 100% recommend using body lotions, shower gels to layer it. Yes, they are significantly more expensive than just getting one from your local drugstore, but if you're really into a fragrance, then for sure use it. And I like using the lotions, particularly the smaller sizes that you get in gift set, as like a hand cream, so you can take it round with you and top up the smell during the day. I've noticed a lot more of these roller balls coming in. Here's the Dior Absolutely Blooming roller ball. So it's kind of like a bit of a syrupy texture. This is great for your handbag to top up, so loving them. Layering fragrances, again, you know, it's your perfume, right? So if you want to layer it, then go for it. Who cares? There's no rule saying you can't. Tara Webb says, what's the best way to get samples to try out different scents? Just ask them. Ask people, do you have a sample? If it's new, they probably will, but the brands only send the counters samples really when it's something new or something they're trying to promote, so they're not going to have like older ones probably as samples. Also, I am on the Dior mail list, and they seem to be sending out samples recently. They sent out Rose and Roses and they sent out Joy just now, but that's probably just in the UK. There are some websites I think where you can order them, and also if you're desperate for one, check out eBay and Amazon. People do sell samples on there, but most of the time, you know, samples are quite hard to come by, so don't be disappointed if the counter doesn't have any. Kevlar Thaygold asks, I'd like to see a video of your top 10 favourite perfume bottle designs. Kevlar, I've already done that video. I'll leave it linked down below. Next from Briar Rose Castle. How many sprays do you use? I know depending on if it's strong or not, but I think I'm not spraying enough because I don't smell it, nor do people when I ask. So is 2 sprays or 6 sprays? Lol. What is best? Thanks. Okay, so Briar Rose Castle. Again, personal preference. I usually do maybe 4 sprays. I spray it on my clothes, on my hair. I don't really spray it on my skin that much, maybe a little bit, because of the alcohol, particularly on your ladies' sort of décolleté area, sensitive skin. I wouldn't want to be spraying alcohol on there because it's gonna like age my skin, I think. So definitely just spray it around. I find it lasts perfume well, lasts in my hair. Like the next day, you know, I have tied my hair up to go to bed, I'll untie it in the morning and I'll get this whiff of whatever perfume I sprayed yesterday. Same with clothes. I'll put a jacket on and it'll be like, oh, it smells like that perfume I sprayed days ago on it. So I find that helps it last. There's nothing wrong with doing loads and loads of sprays if you want. Like do 10 sprays, do 15, you know, whatever you want, it's up to you. But if you are still finding that you can't smell it and people can't smell it, then it's probably just not a very good perfume, so you maybe change perfume. Next question from Keizo Fine. I think my Dior Joy perfume colour has changed. Why would that happen? Sunlight will fade the colour. So Claire Smith asks many questions here. Cool question here. Also, have you ever thought about what type of perfume you would create if you had the opportunity? Claire, I think about this all the time. I have so many ideas, and my dream is one day this channel will be successful enough for me to be able to warrant actually having my own perfume range. How amazing would that be, you guys? How amazing would that be? Yes, I think about this all the time. I think about the bottles a lot. I have quite a few bottle ideas. In terms of perfume ideas, I think I would love to do some citrus perfumes that last, because I love citruses, but it's so hard to find ones that genuinely last more than like an hour because it's such a light note. So I have some ideas around that and how we could make it last. I would love to do a stronger take on Jimmy Choo, which is my favorite perfume, and same with Miss Dior. So I love both those perfumes, but I find they don't last as long as I wish they did. So I'd love to create one that lasts all day. I love to do sort of hero fragrances for different fragrance notes, like a really amazing peony, a really amazing tonka bean, a really amazing, you know, lemon, lime, orange, raspberry, strawberry. I have literally so many ideas. So maybe one day I'll be like, you know, Jeffree Star and have my own range, who knows. Another question from Claire Smith here. Do you think perfume houses will move more towards refilling like Mugler? I do think that yes, everyone's so conscious of their environmental impact. Like if we can reduce our waste, then we should. You know, I've traveled quite a lot. If you see me, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably have noticed this. And when I go to perhaps less developed countries, the amount of plastic waste everywhere is insane. It's like it's rained plastic. And you know, here, I know in the UK, lots of places in Europe, we've been shipping our waste to Asian countries for them to recycle it, and then, you know, it doesn't necessarily get recycled or whatever, and of course there's all the waste in the sea that's washing up on the shore, and it's just disgusting. And yeah, if there's anything we can do to stop that, it's not fair. Here in our, like, you know, little piece of the world that's super developed, we don't see a lot of this, but if you travel you'll see it and it's horrible. And she also asks, are there any examples of perfumes that you think are poorly designed for storage, longevity or practical usage points of view? The Kenzo flower perfume. So I have one here, right? And this is the 30ml. So this is the smallest size of Kenzo flower, right? The full sizes are like this, 100ml. They're not sold in most places. They just do 50 and 30 because they're a nightmare to store, because perfume shops, you know, they have like shelves, right? And then they don't fit on the shelves. And then so you try and store them like that and then they stick out on the shelf. These are a nightmare. So even though it's a fun design, like not good for the salespeople. Next question from CC. What are the best affordable celebrity fragrances for a teen, girl or boy? I'd say for a girl, Ariana Grande. You can usually get this discounted. I know that she's massive with teenage girls. And the Beyonce ones as well, I'd recommend. For boys, the David Beckham ones are really affordable, and they always used to sell out at Christmas, those gift sets, really early. I'd also say Hugo Boss can be quite affordable. You can get like 200ml, and Lacoste ones as well for boys. Gabby Menezes says, how to choose the perfect signature perfume for everyday wear. This is all about how a perfume makes you feel, right? And that's why I love perfumes, because it has a power to invoke emotions in you just from smelling something, a memory, whatever. So your signature perfume is that perfume that when you smell it, you're just like, that is me, that is happiness in a smell. Like you get that emotional reaction to it. If you smell something and you think that's really nice, that's fine, and of course you can wear that, but that's probably not your signature scent. Hewish Awais says, your most complimented perfumes and updated best of gourmand fragrances. I will do a gourmand fragrance video soon, so watch out for that. Oh, Aline Vieira says, what is your earliest memory involving fragrances? Great question. My earliest memory has to be the smell of fragrances on my parents. I think you, as a child, you get up quite early. Like me and my brother used to get up and go and watch cartoons at like 6 a.m. And then obviously your parents then get up, go have their shower and whatever. And I remember the smell after my mum had sprayed her perfumes. She would wear J'adore, and now she wears Coco Mademoiselle, and I always remember smelling that and thinking, oh wow, how cool, when I'm a grown up I'll be able to smell like that too. And sort of looking at her and her jewelry box and seeing all these grown-up girl things, and also the smell of it on your dad, you know, like he'd come home from work, you'd go give him a hug and you'd get that smell of grown-up dad. I think one of my first perfumes was the Ralph Lauren Ralph one, and I remember that. I also had the original Kenzo flower as well. Lulu asks, what perfume you like or compliment on others but for some reason don't like on yourself, don't want to own? Hypnotic Poison by Dior, definitely. Is it just my nose or do all perfumes smell the same, says Tala Khan. Talakan, it is just your nose. They all have different ingredients, sorry. Zanatul Furin says, what's your signature perfume? So it's either Jimmy Choo or Miss Dior. What's your favourite fragrance note? Patchouli, peony, pear, strawberry, raspberry. Oh, blackcurrant. I think it's blackberry and blackcurrant. What's your favourite fragrance blend? Dior is my favourite brand for the branding, the pictures, and Natalie Portman is my favourite actress, so that's amazing when they picked her. I was like, oh my god, this is perfect, unison. I love all that, so that's definitely my favourite like brand in general. Butterface Maker asks, what about cheaper celebrity perfumes? Yeah, some of them can be really good. The Rihanna ones last well, the Ariana Grande ones can last well, a lot of them can, so don't be put off just because it's a celebrity perfume. And you know what, the Kim Kardashian perfume, the original one, the black one, is actually a really nice smell. Butterface Maker also asked, does fashion and perfume go together? For example, wearing Chanel Coco Mambroselle with a simple t-shirt on and leggings, 100%. You know, someone can walk in and have the most fantastic smell and it doesn't matter what they're wearing, like it just says a lot about them, so definitely don't worry about anything like that. Which fragrances are your confidence boosters? I have done a video all about uplifting perfumes and I think this is great that perfumes really can give you confidence. I think when you know you smell nice, you smell classy, or perhaps you're going on a date or in a romantic situation and you know that you smell good, that can really do that. So for me, well, my favourites, Jimmy Choo, Miss Dior. I love Mademoiselle Roche's Couture. I feel really good when I'm wearing that. La Vie est Belle, Armani C, definitely. I think that smells really classy. A Tupperware says, UK shops, department stores you prefer to go perfume shopping to. Harrods is definitely the best for perfume. They often get new releases before other places. They have the most beautiful perfume room, I guess. It's massive with like marble and mirrors, and there's every perfume there. And if you work for a perfume brand, basically to get in Harrods as the person there for that brand is really hard. You have to be the best of the best. And the assistants actually know everything about the perfumes, whereas in some places they literally have no idea. Okay, so I think I've answered a lot of questions there. I hope you found this video interesting, useful. Maybe I'll do another one in the future. If you have more questions, let me know. But that's it, guys. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.